Hello, everyone. We got a very special episode of Man One today. We got Aubrey Galvan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Um, well, I'm Aubrey. I'm a sophomore now. I live in Illinois and I go to Deerfield High School.
There we go. And what AAU team do you play for?
I play for full package.
There we go. So, like we said, this is kind of your basketball journey, kind of sharing your story. But we got to share a story. We always do start at the beginning. When did you first start playing basketball?
I actually started when I was like 4 years old. I was always at my brother's basketball practices. And I would just be like dribbling up and down the side of the court as they all were like practicing. And his coach like came up to like my parents and me and was just like, she actually might be good. So then I started actually like to practice a bit.
So you were a natural. It didn't have to force you to go or anything. It just naturally picked it up, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then so moving in, how did last year's high school season go kind of before we start this year's high school season?
Well, last year we ended off losing in the sectional finals, but who we lost to were the state champs. So like, I
Not
guess if we're
terrible.
gonna lose to somebody, but like they just knew how to play us.
And
That's
then
kind of what it was.
if someone hasn't seen you play yet, how would you describe your game? I'll go afterwards how I would describe your game, but how would you describe your game?
I'd probably say I'm I'm very fast tempo and I'm a bit flashy, I guess.
Would you compare your game to anyone like WNBA, NBA, anyone of that nature?
Um, a couple people, I guess. People like say kind of like Steve Nash or like um forget who the other person is. Uh Pistol Pete.
There you go. Wow, going back for that's an old shout out. There you go.
Yeah.
I will say, maybe it's recency bias, but I think I have to go with a little bit of Chelsea Gray in your game with with some of the passes you make and stuff. I feel like you got a little. If people like the way Chelsea Gray plays, I think they might want to come watch one of your games because you have some of those same passes, some of those same moves where you're like, how in the world is she gonna put that off?
I saw her play the other day against Seattle. That was like insane.
Yeah, that point guard, that one, she lived up to that, and she lived up to it today too. So I thought that's what came to mind when I was thinking of your game. I'm like a little bit of flash, but can still make the basket. So that was who came to mind. So how would you say your summer went with AAU? I know you came up to Minnesota a few times.
Yeah. Um I had a great time. Like win or lose, we were having fun. And honestly, I think we got the best out of it that we could.
Where were some of the best places you got to travel this summer due to AAU?
We didn't travel that much. I'm not gonna lie. Like farthest we went was like Indiana and Minnesota. So I
What
mean,
was
like, we
the
like
last,
Minnesota because
like?
Mall of America.
Oh, okay, there you go. See, we get so like desensitized to it because we're used to it. We live up here; it's here all the time.
Yeah,
So when people are like Mall America, I'm like, oh, I guess people don't have. It's not just everywhere, I guess.
yeah.
And then, so who are some of the best players you've ever played with in your career, either AAU, high school? Who's some of the players that you like think that's the top of the list of who you've gotten to play with?
Um, Last year I played with somebody named Emily Pape. She plays at Cornell now. She could catch every one of my passes, even if it was bad. And just like knew how to play with me. So I'd say she's the best I've ever played with.
Who's the best you've ever played against, either AAU or high school?
um, that's a hard one. I've never really thought of that. I have no clue.
We'll come back to that. We'll give you some time
Yeah.
there. And so this summer at AAU, you kind of exploded onto the scene. I mean, people, some people I think around the Midwest knew about you a little bit. I'd say you had a pretty big summer in terms of college coaches starting to know, us as recruiters and stuff of that nature, not recruiters, I guess I should say reporters and people that write about the game. We started realizing you. Did you notice an uptick in kind of attention this summer?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
So how do you view recruiting? Is it stressful? Is it exciting? Is it kind of a mixture of both? Depends on the day. How do you view it?
I wouldn't necessarily call it like stressful. I think it's more exciting. I just like I personally like meeting just like new people, getting like to create different connections and everything. So I think it's really cool.
So when you're looking at schools and stuff of that nature, what are some of your non-negotiables or kind of boxes you want checked? Like when you're looking at the school you pick, it has to, have this, this, and this. What are some of those things?
Definitely like my number one has to be like the team has to feel like family and like culture. Like that's what I have down at full package. Like I have so much fun because like everybody feels like family to me. So I just need like that kind of connection. And honestly, that's just mostly what I look for.
Just kind of that feel. And then are you someone that's kind of saying I might want to stay close to home in the Midwest? Are you kind of open to anywhere in the United States kind of thing? Or that hasn't been decided currently at this time?
I mean, like, I think like open, like if there's a school that like I really want, um, and it like my heart goes there. If it's
Right.
close or far, I'm gonna go.
There you go. So, just talking about the summer, I have one in mind. Do you have any plays that you made or any that you either made on the assist, the made that kind of stand out as pretty special this summer? Any kind of certain plays?
Well, earlier in the summer, uh, I don't we were I don't even know where we were, kind of by Milwaukee or something, and I did kind of like a pullback, and then like the person fell, and I did behind the back for the assist. So I guess like that's like the highlight that always goes through my mind.
I said the one I'll share was up in Minnesota, Hopkins Gym. I think you were like playing full court defense and you got the steal and you went to do the layup, but the defender kind of taking your feet out from underneath you. So you had to kind of rise up and go up and under. And I think the people I was sitting with were like, did she just make that? Because you made it look easy. It wasn't easy because you had your feet taken out from underneath you and you weren't going to be able to come down and land on your feet. So you still made the back bucket. So we kind of had a wow kind of moment. So I think you're pretty good for 2 or 3 wow moments anytime you play.
Thank you. Yeah, that one's a good one.
That's my next question. With these moves, do you sometimes kind of plan them out in your head, just kind of the feel of the game? Are you kind of saying like, hey, things are rolling right now, I'm feeling pretty confident? Or kind of what's your mentality when you're out there on the court?
I just go with the flow. Like if I just do what pass is like necessary for each moment. Like if it needs like a bounce, but like has to get behind, I do like behind the back bounce. Or like if it's like supposed to like get in their hands early and lay it up, I do like behind the back, like over my head. So like it's kind of just like I read the situation like right before.
And you play point guard. That kind of comes with, I would say, expectations and a little bit of leadership. What's your leadership style like? Is that do as I do, just kind of follow my lead? Or is that more, you kind of vocal leader that's telling people where to be, what to do? How do you lead?
Well, I'm working on like being the vocal leader and everything, and I've gotten better like over the summer. Um, and I kind of lead just like encouraging, saying like just do this backdoor cut. I just like I have like individual talk sometimes, kind of like that. But I'm trying to like vocalize more to like project my voice to the whole court. And my coach for AAU is actually having me like coach the fourth and fifth graders
Nice.
every like Tuesday and Thursday. So it's helping my leadership skills.
What have you learned from being a coach? A different perspective than player and coach. What have you learned from being a coach so far?
Um, I learned how hard it is to come up with like all the drills. So I always have to be coming up with the drills. I kind of just do like the ball handling and everything. And honestly, it's fun because like they're so young still. So I like having like being able to help them improve
They're
ball
just
handling wise.
just getting started. Hey, they're learning from a master because you have the ball on the string usually when you're playing. How would you say your role is different from for your high school team to for your AAU team? Are your roles different? Are they the same? Kind of what's the difference in between there?
Well, for AU, I'm like there's like two like ball handlers on the court, kind of like I'm the point guard and all of that. But during high school season, it's kind of three guards and two posts because
Okay.
we have like a pretty skilled team with like guards and then like the posts that are in are also really good, like our bigs. And so it's kind of like three guards. So like any one of us takes up the ball. So like I definitely have to adjust back like back and forth during AAU in high school of like how to play, because it's like completely different games.
What's something that you would say from the beginning of AAU to the end of AAU that you would say you maybe improved on the most this last AAU season? A skill set.
Definitely leadership and encouragement. Not gonna lie, like I'm a bit shy at first, and like I'm a bit quiet. So this whole summer I've just been working on like really talking and really like focused on that.
I like it. I would say one of the things is someone who saw you early April in Illinois. I think we saw you, and then we saw you kind of later in the summer in Minnesota. One of my things I would say is your ability to absorb contact. I think you early in the season you maybe tried to avoid it or maybe get a quick shot off. Where in the end you kind of were like, I'm just going to let him hit me, and I'm going to absorb it. I'm still going to focus on the finish. And I think that was you had a little more and ones towards the end of the year. Would you agree with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I actually started lifting a little bit. So maybe that's what it is. I think I was just a little bit scared at first.
Hey, there you go. Because trust me, I'm still scared, and I don't lift ever. So if I play at Lifetime, I'm playing the old man league, and I'm still scared of contact. So I don't blame you not wanting to get hit. We'll go back to it. Maybe give a little more time. What's the best player you've ever had a chance to play with or play against? Sorry, play against.
Yes, yeah. Honestly, okay, so during trainings, I like when it's like not WNBA season, Jewel Lloyd, like my coach trains her. So I was like train with her, like shoot some shots. We have to 1v1 sometimes, so she definitely is the
Hey,
hardest
there
person
you
to have
go.
to play against.
So then that leads me to my next question. Do you watch the WNBA? Are you kind of WNBA,
Yeah,
NBA fan, or who are some of your favorite players to watch in the leagues?
I love watching Jewel Lloyd because like I love her game, and like she's just like a good person even out of the game. I also like to watch who else? Sue Bird. I kind of stick by Seattle. Not gonna lie.
Seattle, you're a Seattle fan. Okay, we can roll with that. So you're a Stewie fan and stuff. So
Yeah.
the Aces were not your favorite after the playoff.
No, they're so good, but like I just like throughout the WNBA season, I kind of just watched the Storm and the Sky. So yeah.
There you go. I like it. Any NBA teams, any college teams that you enjoy watching? Players enjoy watching?
Um. Well, college, I don't know because the top players always go to the NBA.
True, true.
So like I'd say I watch more NBA than college, but I still
It's fair.
yeah. But NBA, I love to watch Golden State, Bulls, and the Bucks.
So I'm guessing a Steph Curry fan with the handles and the shooting.
Steph Curry fan, yeah.
There we go. I'm sensing a trend here, kind of the shooting, the handles, kind of the creating. Let's talk a little bit off the court. If you're not playing basketball, not training, not coaching, what can people find you doing? What's Aubrey doing when she's not playing anything to do with basketball?
Honestly, not doing too much. If I'm not doing anything, I just go hang out with my friends or family.
There you go.
Usually go out to eat some dinner.
Did you ever play any other sports growing up or even now, any other sports besides basketball?
Yeah, I play soccer actually. I played travel for a while, and then last year, like during a tryout, somebody came and like slide tackled me and broke my foot. So I never really like went back there.
That's fair. I probably wouldn't either. No worries. I probably won't go back either after my foot broke, so I don't blame you. And basketball and soccer, a lot of players play both. How do from your perspective, how are they kind of similar? How do their skill set help each other in there? Like, how do the soccer skills that help you as a basketball player a little bit, would you say?
Honestly, the conditioning definitely having to like run the whole field and everything. It definitely transfers back into basketball because I don't really lose breath too much as like others may.
I mean,
So
I'm tired just watching you, so I can't say But, and then we're coming up. So I don't know, Illinois, I'm guessing they probably start their high school season pretty similar to around Minnesota and whatnot. I'm guessing we're probably about a month or so, maybe month and two away from the season.
mhm.
What are some of the goals and expectations you and your team have for the upcoming year? Is it to get past that, that kind of that wall and get to the state tournament? What are those? What's that like?
we're definitely looking to get farther than we did last year. Um, win the sectionals and everything. We just want to have a fun season, and we're hoping to take it far.
I like it. I guess, what are some of the keys that you feel your team has to do in order to have a successful season?
Honestly, we have to focus on more like rebounding because like there's a bunch of guards in, so we're working at rebounding definitely, and just like moving the ball because with the way we move the ball when we do, like it's hard to guard us.
I like it. I'll have to keep track. I'll have to be following some stuff with Illinois and
Yeah.
whatnot. And so I won't take all of your night. We'll end it there with one final question. When someone watches Aubrey, what's one word that you hope comes to mind or that they think of when they watch your game?
Um, I'd say creative.
That's a perfect one for your game. That is a very good one. We can't end on a better one than that. So I want to say thank you. You are very entertaining. If people want to watch your skill set, just watch Chelsea Gray in the WNBA finals because you play very similar. Or maybe Kelsey
Thank you.
Plum. You have a little more Kelsey Plum because you're a shooter and she can handle and stuff. So maybe a little Kelsey Plum. But thank you so much for taking your time to do this. You
Yeah,
have
thank you so much for having me.
absolutely. I cannot wait to see you. Who knows? Maybe I'll take the trip to Illinois. Your ticket selling type place. Otherwise, I will be seeing you the AAU season. So thank you. Have a
Yeah,
great, great night.
thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.